At my brother's rehearsal dinner, there was no spot for me. He grinned and said, "Didn't you get the message?" So I sat in the back with my girlfriend and stayed quiet. But when the $3,100 check showed up, the waiter walked it to our table until she smiled and said, "We're only here to watch. Ask the groom." My brother reached for his wallet and froze. It was gone. I just watched his grin vanish. I never thought a wedding could feel like a calculated attack. But the moment that bill landed on our table, I knew my own brother was trying to humiliate me, and I wasn't going to let him get away with it. The restaurant buzzed around us, a symphony of clinking glasses and forced laughter. But for me, the air felt thin, heavy with an unspoken tension that had been building for years. I'm Caleb, 28, working in IT, and I've always been the quiet one in the family. Not a dramatic black sheep, more like the middle kid you barely notice unless something breaks. I was the peacemaker, the fixer, while my older brother, Liam, soaked up all the attention, and my younger sister, Sophia, got away with everything. I didn't mind much. I had my own world, eventually my own apartment, far from the family drama. But Liam, he always made everything about him. Not in a typical firstborn way. No, Liam's brand of selfish came dressed in a three-piece suit and a rehearsed grin. He was the golden child. Mom always bragged about his promotions, even the sideways ones. Dad gave him the new car when he graduated. I got a handshake and a "you'll get there too, buddy." Subtle favoritism, but it was there, and Liam wore it like cologne, just strong enough to remind you. So, when Liam got engaged to Chloe, none of us were surprised. He planned the wedding like a royal affair, destination venue, custom decor, designer tuxedos, drone videographers. He truly believed this was his celebrity weekend, and we just went along. That's what you do in our family. Keep your head down. Don't rock the boat. Smile for the cameras. My girlfriend, Harper, had only met my family a few times. She's the kind of person who doesn't talk much, but when she does, you listen. Smart, calm, with a sharp wit that sneaks up on you. I always admired how quickly she saw through people, and I knew from the start that Liam rubbed her the wrong way. She never said it, but the tight-lipped smile she gave him at Christmas spoke volumes. The first red flag? The rehearsal dinner invitations. Or, rather, the lack of mine. I found out from Mom, a casual text, "See you Friday night at the restaurant." So excited! I blinked. Friday? A quick scroll through the family group chat confirmed Liam had sent details. Except, I wasn't in the group chat anymore. I hadn't even noticed. I scrolled back months. Sure enough, I'd been quietly removed sometime in early spring. No warning, no explanation, just gone. I brought it up with Mom, and she just sent a shrug emoji. Weird. A glitch, she implied. Right. I debated going. Harper saw me pacing that night, phone in one hand, half-eaten sandwich in the other. "It's not about the dinner," I muttered. "It's about the message." She leaned on the counter. "Which message?" "The one they're trying to send without saying anything." She was silent for a moment. Then, "Do you want to go?" Part of me didn't, but another part, the stubborn part one guess I got from Dad, decided I wouldn't give Liam the satisfaction of making me feel invisible. So, we went. The restaurant was one of those places with wine bottle chandeliers and tiny plates costing more than my weekly groceries. The hostess checked the reservation, leading us toward a private dining room. Okay, I thought, maybe this won't be so bad. Then I saw the table, a long, rectangular setup with name cards. Parents, bridesmaids, groomsmen, even Chloe's second cousin from Australia had a card. I scanned it twice. No Caleb. No Harper. Liam spotted us just as the awkward silence began to stretch. He was holding a drink, talking to Chloe's dad. When our eyes met, he gave me that grin, the one that said, "Oh, you showed up." I walked over, still trying to be polite. Hey, looks like the hostess missed our names. He didn't miss a beat. Didn't you get the hint? He said, half laughing. I blinked. What? He sipped his drink. I figured you'd be busy, or not interested. My jaw tightened. So, no seat because he assumed? He shrugged. Tight head count, Caleb. You know how these things are. Harper, beside me, said nothing, just studied him like a bug under glass. I looked around. At least 2 empty chairs, probably for last-minute no-shows. But I knew better than to argue. This wasn't about space. This was about power, about sending a message. I said nothing. I just nodded, turned, and Harper and I walked to a smaller side table near the back. No one followed. No one even looked. We sat in silence. Waiters brought appetizers. Toasts were made. Laughter rolled across the main table like waves. I picked at my food. Harper sipped her wine. I was halfway through a dry piece of bread when she leaned over and whispered, "He did that on purpose." I know, I replied. Are you okay? I wasn't, but I nodded anyway. She put her hand over mine. We don't have to stay. I almost said yes. I almost stood up, threw my napkin down, and walked out. But something stopped me. Not pride, exactly. Something heavier. I realized leaving would be exactly what Liam wanted, for me to walk away quietly, like I always had. So, we stayed. Quiet, distant, watching from the corner like spectators. We didn't laugh at the speeches. We didn't pose for photos. We simply existed. I felt Liam's gaze flick toward us every so often, like he was checking to see if we were still there. He didn't like that we were. And that's when I knew something else was coming. Something petty, something cruel. I just didn't know it would involve a $3,000 surprise and a waiter walking to our table with a bill we didn't order. The next morning, I woke with a headache. Not from the wine, but from the weight of it all. You ever replay everything in your head like a broken tape, trying to find the moment you could have said something better? Yeah, that was me. Harper tried to talk me down gently, but even her calm presence couldn't shake the heaviness. I kept thinking about Liam's smirk. So casual, like he'd just stolen my lunch in middle school and dared me to cry about it. We had a few hours before the wedding ceremony, so we grabbed a quiet breakfast. Harper stirred her coffee, watching the cream swirl. You sure you want to go today? She asked, not for the first time. I nodded, voice flat. Yeah, I need to see this through. She squeezed my hand. Then we go. But no more surprises. No more surprises. That illusion shattered the moment we arrived. The venue looked like a castle from the outside, but inside, a Pinterest board had exploded. White, gold, rose petals, fairy lights. Guests milled around, champagne in hand. Harper and I checked in, got our welcome bags, and followed the crowd into the garden. There, a giant wooden board displayed the reception seating chart. Rows of names in calligraphy, organized by table numbers with flower names: peony, lavender, orchid. I scanned the list for our names. Nothing. I looked again, slower. Still nothing. Harper's voice was quiet but firm. We're not on it. A cold prickle crept up my spine. I double-checked under Caleb, then Cal just in case. Still nothing. Then I noticed something. The very last table, table 12, no flower name, just plain table 12. A short list of names, most unfamiliar, but 2 stood out, Caleb +1 at the bottom, in noticeably smaller script. I turned to Harper. We're at the reject table. She just looked at me with that expression again, the one that said, I saw this coming. Table 12 was near the back of the reception hall, practically in a different zip code. When we got there later, we were seated with the wedding videographer, a childhood neighbor Liam hadn't spoken to in years, and the ex-girlfriend of one of the groomsmen. None of us really knew each other. We exchanged polite smiles, avoiding eye contact during speeches. But the insult wasn't just about placement. It was that even here, shoved in the back like forgotten furniture, we were being watched. I saw Liam glance our way during the father-daughter dance. He didn't smile. He didn't wave. He just looked at me like I was a puzzle piece that didn't fit and never would. Then came the final straw. Dinner. Waiters brought course after course. Tiny, artistic plates. By the third course, we were starting to enjoy ourselves, a little. Harper cracked a joke about how the caramelized fennel drizzle looked like a snail trail, and for a second, I laughed. That's when the waiter arrived with the bill. I blinked. Oh, sorry. What's this? He placed the slim black folder on our table, in front of Harper. The groom requested this be delivered here. Everyone at table 12 paused. Even the half-asleep videographer sat up. I opened the folder. My stomach dropped. The total, $3,127.46. Itemized, wine, multi-course meal, custom dessert. It was a bill for the entire rehearsal dinner. Before I could react, Harper leaned in and calmly slid the folder back to the waiter. She smiled. "We're just here for the show," she said. "Did the groom ask for this to be delivered here?" The waiter, bless his heart, looked confused. Yes, of course," he stammered, backing away like he'd walked into a family dispute, which, to be fair, he had. I was frozen, absolutely stunned. Not just that Liam had the gall to send us the bill, but that he'd done it here, at his wedding, in front of strangers. Harper leaned toward me. That was calculated. That wasn't a mistake. I nodded slowly. He wanted to humiliate me. She narrowed her eyes. He picked the wrong girl to try it on. The rest of the reception played out in slow motion. I saw Liam arguing briefly with the waiter, then handing over his credit card like it was nothing. But the smile was gone. That cocky, confident grin had vanished. He looked rattled, like someone had turned the spotlight on him. But that wasn't the breaking point. Not yet. That came an hour later, during the speeches. I was nursing a drink, half listening as the best man gave a predictable, mildly inappropriate toast. Then Chloe stood up. She was graceful, elegant, trying her best to hold back tears of joy. She talked about love, family, gratitude. Then she paused. And of course, she said sweetly, a huge thank you to my new brother-in-law, Caleb, for covering the cost of last night's dinner. We were so surprised and touched by your generosity. The room clapped. Heads turned toward our table. Harper's mouth dropped open. What? I felt punched in the chest. My ears rang. My heart thudded. She thought I paid for it. That smug snake. Liam had let her believe I'd covered it, that I'd willingly dropped $3,000 as some last-minute gift. He hadn't corrected her. He hadn't said a word. Just let the applause wash over the lie like it was a warm bath. I stood up. I don't even remember deciding to. My chair scraped loudly. All eyes were on me. I gave a small nod, smiled tightly, and raised my glass. Happy to contribute, I said quietly, then sat back down. Harper was furious. Caleb, I held up a hand. Not here. Not now. Because that was the moment I realized something. This wasn't just about a dinner or a table or a wedding. This was about every birthday I got overlooked. Every time Liam forgot to invite me. Every time Mom made excuses for him and Dad told me to let it go. Every time I told myself it wasn't worth the fight. This wasn't about one insult. It was about a lifetime of them. And it had to stop. But not with a scene. Not with shouting or fists or throwing wine. No, Liam wanted drama. He wanted a reaction. He wasn't going to get it. He was going to get something worse. He was going to get silence. And then, when he least expected it, he was going to get everything he gave me back tenfold. Because the next morning, before they even opened their wedding gifts, I'd already started planning my response. And let's just say by the time I was finished, Liam would wish he'd stuck me at the back of the room and left me alone. When I woke up the morning after the wedding, I didn't feel angry anymore. Just numb, like I'd been walking through fog and finally realized there was nothing on the other side. Harper was still asleep beside me, her breathing soft. I watched her, feeling a strange mix of guilt and gratitude. She didn't sign up for this family drama, and yet, she was still here, in my corner. I quietly got out of bed and stepped onto the hotel balcony. The city was waking up below us. The sun rose, spilling soft light across the horizon. It should have been beautiful. Instead, all I could think about was Chloe's face when she thanked me for a $3,000 gesture I never made. And how Liam just sat there, letting her believe it. That wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a hit job with a smile, and I didn't even see it coming. Later that morning, the group chat exploded. For once, I was still in it, probably by accident. Mom posted a picture of Liam and Chloe in matching pajamas, surrounded by gifts. "So proud of my boys," she wrote, with heart emojis. "And Caleb, thank you again for your generosity. We raised such wonderful sons." I didn't reply. My sister, Sophia, who'd mostly stayed out of things until now, finally chimed in, "Wait, Caleb paid for the dinner?" Another cousin replied, "Damn, dude, that was baller of you." More comments poured in. Praise, jokes, admiration. I just stared at the screen, heart sinking further. I didn't want attention. I didn't want the credit. I just wanted the truth. But Liam had already rewritten the story. He always did. It took me 2 full days to finally talk to my parents. I waited until we got back home, away from the wedding chaos and hotel corridors filled with fake smiles. I called Mom first, half expecting her to dodge the conversation. She didn't. "Oh, honey," she said, her voice already soft with that familiar "let's not make this a thing" tone. "Liam told us you offered to cover the dinner." I thought it was strange, but such a kind gesture. Everyone was talking about it. "I never said that," I replied. "He sent me the bill without asking." A long pause. "Well," she finally said, "maybe it was a misunderstanding. You were sitting separately." "No," I said, firmer now. "He did it on purpose. And he didn't correct Chloe when she thanked me. He let everyone believe I paid for something he planned and hosted." Another pause. "Liam's been under a lot of pressure lately." I almost laughed. Of course. There it was. The golden child clause, the get out of accountability free card. He was stressed. He was busy. He didn't mean it like that. I ended the call politely, then stared at the wall for what felt like an hour. That week was the lowest I'd felt in years. Not just because of what happened, but because of what it revealed. That I had spent most of my life giving people the benefit of the doubt, only to realize they were counting on it. They relied on me to keep quiet, to let things slide, to be the one who never made a scene. And I had played my role perfectly, until now. That night, Harper came into the living room and sat beside me. I hadn't told her everything yet, just bits and pieces. But she could see it in my face. "You okay?" she asked. I nodded. She waited. "No," I finally admitted. "I'm tired. I'm tired of being expendable to them." Harper leaned back. "You know what's wild?" she said. You're the only one in that whole family who sees it clearly. That makes you dangerous. I frowned. Dangerous to people like your brother? Yeah, she looked me dead in the eye, because you've got nothing to prove. You don't need the spotlight, and that drives him crazy. So he keeps poking you, trying to get a reaction. Well, he got one, I muttered. Barely, she countered. You didn't give him what he wanted. But you can still give him what he deserves. I raised an eyebrow. What are you suggesting? She smiled. Not revenge. Not yet anyway. I'm saying build your life so good they choke on it. That stuck with me. So that's what I started to do. I didn't make any big announcement. I didn't post some dramatic caption or cut people off in a blaze of glory. I just got to work. First, I changed jobs. I'd been stuck in the same IT position for 4 years. Decent pay, stable hours, but no growth, no challenge. I updated my resume, applied quietly, and within 2 months, I landed a remote gig with a software company that paid almost 30% more with real upward mobility. Then I doubled down on my side hustle, web development. I'd always been into it, but never seriously. Now, I treated it like a second job. I built a clean portfolio, signed up for every freelance platform, and within weeks, I was getting steady clients. Small projects turned into big ones. A real rhythm started to form. Harper helped, too. She had a good eye for design, so we partnered on a few gigs. She'd handle visuals, I'd handle code. We made a great team, better than I'd expected. My bank account started to grow, slowly at first, then noticeably. I started saving more than ever, planning for things I never thought were in reach before, trips, a new car, maybe even a house. But more than money, what changed was my mindset. I stopped waiting for approval from family, from Liam, from anyone. I started showing up for myself the way I'd been showing up for other people my whole life. And the funny thing was, they noticed. Subtly. A cousin would comment on a new project. An old friend messaged me saying, "Looks like things are going well for you." Even Mom started to call more often, just to check in. But Liam was quiet. Too quiet. Which meant something was brewing. I found out a few months later through Sophia. She called me out of the blue one evening. "Hey," she said, sounding nervous. "I need to tell you something." I stepped onto the balcony, heart already racing. "What's going on?" "It's about Liam," she said. "You're not going to like it." She was right. Apparently, Liam had been bragging to a few relatives about how Caleb finally got serious after the wedding. How he was the one who gave me the push I needed to man up and grow up, that I used to be stuck, but now, thanks to a little tough love, I was finally doing something with my life. He was taking credit for my success. I was stunned, speechless. "He's telling people he inspired you?" Sophia added. "That sending you that bill was a wake-up call." I couldn't breathe for a second. "You've got to be kidding me." I wish I was, but it gets worse. Of course, it did. Apparently, Liam had recently pitched a family investment fund idea to our parents. Some real estate thing. Said it was a sure thing, he just needed a little help getting it off the ground. He was trying to get Dad to dip into his retirement savings. And guess who he mentioned as part of the team? Me? I said. "Yep," she confirmed. "Told them you were consulting on the tech side, that you'd vouch for it." I leaned against the railing. "I haven't spoken to him in months." "I know, but they don't." That was the final crack, the one that split everything wide open. He wasn't just lying about the past. He was using me to prop up his next scheme. And that's when I knew I couldn't just ignore it anymore. It wasn't enough to quietly succeed. It was time to set the record straight. but not with a confrontation. With a plan. One that would show the truth. Not just to my family, but to Liam himself. Because he'd spent his whole life thinking he was the main character. And he had no idea the quiet kid in the background was finally ready to take center stage. But first, I needed to know exactly what he was planning. So, I reached out to someone I never thought I'd call, Chloe. And the conversation we had, it changed everything. I didn't call Chloe right away. I sat on the idea for 3 days, turning it over like a stone, weighing it, wondering if it would cut me or skip across the surface like I hoped. It wasn't just the awkwardness, though there was plenty. She'd publicly thanked me for a wedding gift I never gave, unknowingly helping paint me as a charity sponsor. But beneath all that, I remembered her face that night, the sincerity, the way she lit up talking about family. Chloe didn't strike me as malicious, just unaware. Liam's best trick had always been his charm, used like a magician's misdirection, smile with the left hand while the right steals your watch. So, I finally did it. One short, polite message, "Hey Chloe, this is Caleb." I was hoping to talk for a few minutes privately. Just some stuff I wanted to clear up. Not urgent. Let me know if you're open to a call. I almost didn't send it. Then I pictured Liam talking to my dad about investment opportunities, dropping my name like a golden ticket, and I hit send. She replied 10 minutes later, "Hi Caleb." Of course. Want to chat tomorrow? I'll be free around 3, smiley face. I didn't know what I expected. Maybe hesitation, a delay. But no, just openness, which made me nervous in a different way. The next afternoon, I stepped into my home office, closed the door, and called her. She answered on the second ring, cheerful as ever. "Hey, Caleb. Everything okay?" I cleared my throat. Yeah, everything's fine. I just wanted to talk about something awkward, I guess." "Oh, okay." A pause. I could almost hear her smile tighten. "It's about the wedding," I continued. "Or more specifically, the rehearsal dinner." "Oh," she said again, much softer. I took a breath. "Chloe, I didn't pay for that." Silence. "I know everyone thought I did. You thanked me, but I didn't offer. Liam sent the bill to our table. I didn't even know it was coming until the waiter dropped it off." She was quiet for a long time. Finally, she said, "He told me you wanted to surprise us, that you wanted to do something generous, but low-key." "Of course, he did." "I would never have made that kind of assumption," I said. "Especially not at your wedding." I can't believe this." Her voice cracked. "I thanked you in front of everyone." "It's okay. Really, I'm not angry at you. But you should be." "Oh my God, I looked like such an idiot." "No, you didn't. You just trusted him." Another long silence. "Why would he do that?" she asked finally. "Why would he lie about that?" I almost laughed. "Because he's Liam." She sighed. "Yeah. I guess I'm starting to understand what that really means." That was the crack in the door I needed. We talked for over an hour. Chloe confessed that the months leading up to the wedding had been exhausting. She'd chalked it up to normal stress, but now, in hindsight, a lot of little things weren't adding up. Expenses ballooned. Vendors mysteriously changed. Her ideas were subtly swapped for better ones, because Liam insisted the guests would like more. Every time she questioned something, he made her feel like she was overreacting. "He always knows what to say," she muttered. And somehow I end up feeling like I'm the one being difficult. I didn't say welcome to the club, but I thought it. She asked me outright, "Has he always been like this with you?" "Yeah," I said, "but it wasn't always this obvious. It used to be little things. A snide comment here, an exclusion there. Then came the bigger stuff. Taking credit for my work, turning our parents against me without ever raising his voice. He's been rewriting the story for years, and no one noticed. I shrugged. People notice what they want to. It's easier to believe Liam is the golden child than to question the narrative. There was a beat of silence. Then her voice dropped, a little hesitant. Do you know anything about this real estate thing he's pitching to your dad? And there it was. The door flung wide open. Yeah, I said. I heard about it, but I don't know the details. She did. Apparently, Liam had been talking about launching a luxury flip business, buying undervalued properties, renovating them, and selling for a profit, all on borrowed money. He had no capital, just a few surface-level contacts, and a lot of fast talking. He wanted our parents to invest 50 grand. He told Chloe it was a guaranteed return and that I was going to handle the tech and marketing side, which, she added dryly, makes a lot more sense now that I know you weren't even aware of it. I shook my head. He's using my name to lend credibility to a fantasy. Chloe sighed. He hasn't even shown me the numbers. Just keeps saying it's going to be big. There was a long pause. Then she said, Do you want to stop him? I sat up straighter. Yeah, I do. That's when we started planning. The next few weeks were a blur of quiet coordination. Harper was the first person I pulled in. Naturally, she was suspicious of Chloe at first, understandably, but after a long dinner and a few honest conversations, she warmed up to the idea. Chloe, for her part, was sharp. She'd started snooping into Liam's files, keeping copies of whatever she found. Emails, proposals, spreadsheets with questionable math. All of it painted a clear picture. Liam was building a house of cards and taping my name to the front door. Meanwhile, I started gathering allies of my own. I reconnected with a few extended family members Liam had alienated over the years, our cousin Isabel, who Liam never paid back for a car repair, and Uncle Mark, whom Liam scammed into buying fake football tickets 5 years ago. I didn't need them to go to war. I just needed them to talk, to start whispering truths into ears that had only heard Liam's version. I even looped in Sophia. She'd always kept her head down like I had. But when she heard the full scope of what Liam was trying to do, using my name, taking our parents' money, planning to vanish if things went sideways, she snapped. I'm in, she said. Let's light this idiot up. The final piece was Dad. He was a practical man, old school. He didn't believe in drama or speculation. If I walked in with accusations, he'd shut down immediately. So, I didn't give him accusations. I gave him evidence. I printed out everything Chloe had found. I showed him screenshots, spreadsheets, even audio clips she secretly recorded of Liam talking about getting Dad to bite. And then I told him plainly that I hadn't been involved at all, and that Liam had been lying about me for months. It wasn't anger I saw in Dad's eyes. It was shame. He'd been fooled. He looked at the folder for a long time. Then rubbed his jaw and said quietly, You did the right thing, son. That hit harder than I expected. I left that meeting with something I hadn't felt in years, leverage. Now all that was left was the reveal. We didn't want to destroy Liam publicly. Not yet. That wouldn't stick. He was too slick, too practiced. But if we could peel back the mask just enough, in just the right room, the illusion would crack. And once it cracked, it would shatter. And lucky for us, the perfect opportunity was already scheduled, a family dinner. A thank you gathering that Liam and Chloe were hosting to celebrate the wedding and discuss the future. All the key players would be there, our parents, Aunt Merrill and Uncle Joe, Isabel, and even Mr. Sterling, Liam's old college mentor, who now ran a mid-sized investment firm. Liam planned to pitch the real estate fund in full, seal the deal, and walk away with Dad's blessing and his checkbook. He had no idea the table was about to turn. I didn't know exactly what would happen that night, but I knew one thing for sure. For the first time in his life, Liam was going to earn the attention he loved so much. And this time, there'd be no applause at the end. Just silence and consequences. The dinner was scheduled for a Saturday night, formal but intimate. Liam had called it a celebration of family and the future, which would have been laughable if it weren't so eerily appropriate. For once, the whole crew was coming. Our parents, Aunt Merrill and Uncle Joe, Isabel, and even Mr. Sterling. Harper and I arrived 10 minutes early, just to watch Liam squirm. The venue was a private dining room in one of those upscale steakhouses, with mood lighting and pretentious jazz playing. When we walked in, Liam greeted us with that same award-winning smile I'd seen 1,000 times. The one he used for networking events, family holidays, and every time he needed to sell you something with sugar on top.